Before written history began, before empires rose and collapsed, ancient humans lived in a world shaped only by nature and fire. In the silence of prehistoric nights, fire was everything: warmth, protection, and survival. But one night, something unexpected may have happened. As dry plants burned, unusual smoke filled the air. Someone stepped closer and inhaled it. That moment, whether accidental or curious, may have become one of humanity's earliest interactions with altered experience. Not addiction, not habit, but discovery. A moment that changed how humans understood fire, plants, and themselves. The question is not just when smoking began, but why humans noticed it at all. Early humans were not passive survivors, they were observers. Every change in smell, heat, or sensation mattered. Fire was already a discovery, but smoke was an extension of it, uncontrolled, unpredictable, and mysterious. This mystery may have drawn attention long before any intentional use existed. Human curiosity turned simple survival tools into cultural experiences. Archaeological evidence shows that fire use dates back hundreds of thousands of years. Once fire became stable in human life, everything around it became experimental. Plants, leaves, and wood were constantly tested. Some burned cleanly, others released strong aromas, and some produced effects that early humans could not explain. These accidental outcomes may have laid the foundation for early smoke exposure. Ancient humans did not understand chemistry, but they understood patterns. If something produced a strong effect, comfort, irritation, or altered feeling, it was remembered. Memory was survival. Anything unusual became part of experience. Smoke, being visually dominant and physically noticeable, became impossible to ignore. Around ancient camps, fire was the center of human life. After long hours of hunting and gathering, people gathered to rest, eat, and communicate. Smoke naturally became part of these shared spaces. It changed atmosphere, smell, and visibility. Even without intention, humans were constantly exposed to it. At some point, exposure may have turned into curiosity. Instead of avoiding smoke, early humans may have observed its effects more closely. This transition, from accident to attention, is one of the most important steps in human behavioral evolution. Many discoveries in history begin this way. Environmental conditions also played a role. Ancient climates were harsh, and survival depended on adaptation. Fire provided safety from predators and cold. Smoke, while secondary, changed the environment around camps. It created boundaries, visibility changes, and sensory shifts that humans began to recognize. Archaeologists have found traces of burned plants in ancient sites across multiple continents. While these findings do not always confirm smoking, they show repeated human interaction with plant combustion. The line between cooking, ritual, and experimentation often overlaps in ancient history. Early cultural practices often formed around fire. Some groups used burning herbs in ceremonies, while others used fire purely for survival. These differences show that smoke-related practices were not universal, but developed in specific contexts. Early cultural practices often formed around fire. Some groups used burning herbs in ceremonies, while others used fire purely for survival. These differences show that smoke-related practices were not universal, but developed in specific contexts. Smoke also carried symbolic meaning. Rising upward, it appeared to connect earth and sky. Many ancient cultures interpreted this as communication with nature or unseen forces. Symbolism often transforms simple physical events into meaningful rituals. Rituals formed when actions were repeated during important moments. Fire and smoke often became part of ceremonies marking transitions, such as hunting preparation, seasonal change, or communal gatherings. Social structure also influenced smoke-related behavior. Humans are deeply social learners. When individuals observe group behavior, they often imitate it. This mechanism may have helped spread early smoke practices. In ancient survival culture, anything that strengthened group identity was important. Shared rituals created unity. Smoke may have become part of identity formation in early communities, reinforcing belonging and cooperation. Over generations, original reasons behind practices can fade. What begins as experimentation can become tradition. Many ancient behaviors survived not because their origin was remembered, but because their meaning evolved. Not all ancient societies developed smoke-related practices. Geography, resources, and environment influenced behavior. Some groups focused on fire for survival only, while others developed symbolic use. Ancient tools used for fire were simple but effective. Stones, sticks, and dried plants formed the basis of early combustion methods. These tools shaped how humans interacted with fire and smoke. Belief systems evolved alongside survival practices. Fire and smoke often became part of spiritual or cultural explanations of the world. Humans naturally seek meaning in powerful sensory experiences. Archaeological evidence continues to be studied, but interpretation remains difficult. Fire use is clear, but intention is not always visible. This leaves room for multiple theories. Historians still debate when intentional smoke inhalation began. The challenge lies in separating accidental exposure from deliberate practice. Without written records, interpretation remains uncertain. Some theories suggest smoke use began in healing rituals. Others argue it was purely accidental. Both possibilities reflect the complexity of early human behavior. Reconstructing ancient life requires combining archaeology, anthropology, and environmental study. Together, these fields help build a picture of how early humans may have interacted with smoke. Over time, human culture evolved far beyond survival. Fire became symbolic, smoke became meaningful, and rituals became structured. These changes shaped civilization itself. The final truth may never be fully known. The exact moment humans began smoking intentionally is lost in prehistory, but the pattern of curiosity, experimentation, and adaptation is clear. So when did ancient humans start smoking? The answer is not a single moment, but a long process shaped by curiosity, environment, and survival. It was not just a habit, it was part of human discovery itself. From fire came smoke, and from smoke came questions that still remain unanswered today.